First, let me thank you for allowing us to have this time together. This is great. Thanks, Carl. Bob Weber was a theologian, professor at Wheaton College for 32 years. And early in his time at Wheaton, he decided he was praying about what to focus on, what area of theology to focus on. He was a historical theologian, and he was praying about what area to focus on. And he felt the Lord leading him to focus on worship, but in a very broad sense, into looking at the theological, historical, and biblical foundations of worship, and eventually spending a lot of time on the cultural and missiological parts of worship also. So in the mid-90s, he decided to establish a Doctor of Ministries program at Northern Baptist Seminary in Chicago, Lombard, Illinois, and at the same time an MA program in worship and spirituality at Tyndale Seminary in Toronto. So those programs went along for a while, and then a new dean came into Northern in the late 90s and said, you really can't let people into a DMin program who don't have the proper Master of Divinity. By the way, DMin is Doctor of Ministries. Right. They can't let people into a DMin program without a Master of Divinity degree, which is the prereq according to the accrediting associations. And at that time, he had in the program people with Masters of Arts, Masters of Music, Master of Church Music degrees, and he wanted to figure out a way to help these people continue with their education, but without having to do a DMin at Northern Seminary. So he called me and he said, would you be willing to host a brand new program that would be a DMin equivalent, Doctor of Ministries equivalent, but we're going to call it a Doctor of Worship Studies, brand new nomenclature. And we're going to let people into the program who have MAs, MMs, MCM degrees, and give them the theological, historical, biblical framework for what they do in church on Sundays. And we'll send the MDiv holders to Northern, let them get a DMin. It'd be essentially the same program, same faculty, everything. And so we said, sure, we'd love to do that. We got the approval of our vestry here at this church, at Grace Episcopal Church, and got the authorization from the state. Actually, we got exemption from authorization from the state of Florida, and opened our doors in 1999 with our very first class. This program continued to grow. As the MDiv people would come and apply here, we'd say, well, no, you need to go to Northern and get a Doctor of Ministries. They said, no, we want to come to Florida. So they kept coming to Florida, and now the program at Northern doesn't exist any longer, and our program continues to grow. So that's how we got going, and we sort of fell into it. So we pioneered this nomenclature of Doctor of Worship Studies in 1999, June of 1999. I was in the very first class in the program. I had said to Bob, I would be thrilled to host the program if you let me be in the first class. And he said, you're accepted. But back in those days, that's how easy it was to get accepted at IWS. Nowadays, not so much. Then in 2002, we started the Master of Worship Studies program here. And that's a 30-hour master's, the doctoral program is a 34-hour program. And then we were accredited in 2010 with the Association for Biblical Higher Education, ABHE. That's who we're with now. And we're going through reaffirmation of that accreditation right now. Okay. Bob passed away in 2007. And when as he became sick with pancreatic cancer, he asked me to be his successor. And I said, no, you need to find someone who knows the academy. I know the church music world, I don't know the academy. He said, oh, you'll learn the academy, but you know the school really well. He was a little cavalier about the academy, but nonetheless, I felt the calling of the Lord to say yes, and I did say yes, got the approval of the board and faculty, and I started as president in 2007 of the school.